And so I'm thankful for people like Parker in my life because they helped me not to go to jail when I was in college. And this thing was just smacking up against their windows, just bam, bam. And these guys would come up to their window and they'd be looking out and they would see my camera looking right at them. We got the security team called on us. Wouldn't it be so much more fun to propose while you're puking? Letting go all I've ever known. Hello everybody and welcome back to the second ever episode of the John B podcast. I'm so glad to have you guys back. If this is you guys' first time watching a video of mine, welcome to the channel. If you guys have seen a few of my videos or watched the last podcast, welcome back. So good to be with you guys. As you can tell, there's a little bit different scenery today. I'm over at my mom and dad's house, and I decided that it would be fun to record my second ever podcast and the home that I grew up in. So thank you guys so much for joining. We're going to go ahead and get started with the video, so thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Alright guys, so for those of you guys who don't know, my name is John Barrett, and this is a podcast that I'm doing. I'm super excited about it. I posted my first ever podcast last week for the first time, and I'm already enjoying doing this so much. It's so fun to be able to create. It's so fun to be able to do something. So thank you guys for clicking on this video. Thank you guys for watching. Even after I posted my first one, I've had all these creative ideas popping into my head about different videos that I want to take during the week and then put into these podcasts. And so I'm super excited to be able to start doing that. I'm super excited to get creative. And once again, I would just ask that if you guys are watching these videos and you have an idea or you have something that you want me to talk about, or if you would like to come on and actually talk with me and we could do like a fun little podcast, maybe do some fun games and challenges together and put together like a show, I would love to do that with you guys. And I'm really open to do that with just about anybody. So if you guys are interested in doing that, go ahead and leave a comment or send me a text or message me on Facebook or Instagram, and I would love to get plugged in. So let's go ahead and get into some of our topics for today. So, like I said, I'll be reading you guys' comments. I want to talk about the things that you guys want me to talk about. I don't want to just talk about random ideas that I come up with. It'd be fun to kind of go back and forth with you guys as if we're with each other in the same room. And so I looked at my first video and I saw a couple of the comments that I got. And both of the comments I got were from guys that I was friends with in college, Parker and Brady. So thank you guys so much for commenting. It's fun to see you guys interacting with the video. And they requested that I tell stories about college. And so I'm actually brainstorming right now, and I'm thinking it might be fun to get together with those guys, go back down to college sometime here soon, and maybe go out to coffee with them and ask them a couple questions. But really quickly, I will share a couple stories from college. So let's get into those. Okay, so I went to North Central University down in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a Christian college in the state that I live in, and it was like literally the absolute best time of my life. I went there for 4 years, and I got a bachelor's degree in youth ministries. So I'm a youth pastor. I think I shared that with you guys in the last video. So I was there for 4 years. And the reason that I know Parker and Brady is because when I was down at North Central, I was a resident advisor. And if you guys don't know what that is, that's pretty much somebody who's in charge of a floor of guys. And so I had the awesome opportunity to kind of help run this floor with these guys on it. And Parker and Brady were two very, very involved guys. And I had a ton of fun with them. Some of my most fun memories with Brady is literally this dude. I mean, if you want to hang out with somebody who's not afraid to speak their mind, you got to hang out with Brady, because Brady is a total savage. But he's a good guy. He loves like crazy, and he was super fun to hang out with in college. And so he's a great guy. And Parker, he is a very wise, a very humble guy that I know. He was on my floor. He was a freshman when I was an RA, and he was great to hang out with. He kind of, I would say, kind of helped keep me balanced, because I was always trying to do something crazy. I was always trying to have fun, and Parker liked to have fun, but he also knew, John, if you do that, you might go to jail. And so I'm thankful for people like Parker in my life, because they helped me not to go to jail when I was in college. I mean, there was some things that we did, that I did, not Parker, that were that were very fun. I remember, I'll tell one story. I got this Apple Watch for Christmas, and I loved pulling pranks on people in the school. I like to have fun. I like to mess around, and I knew pretty much everybody in the building that I lived in. So I was like, I have a relationship with all these people. I can pull pranks on them, right? And I wasn't thinking, I'm just going to say it right now. I wasn't thinking. A lot of the dumb things I've done in my life, I really just wasn't thinking before I did them. And then I learned afterwards, hey, I probably shouldn't be doing this. And this was definitely one of those situations. And so I had just gotten this Apple Watch, and the Apple Watch had this feature where you could turn on your camera on your phone, and then you could have your Apple Watch on, and you could see what your camera was looking at on your phone. And I lived in a building where it was all guys throughout the entire building. So we weren't going to be, you know, spying on anybody that we shouldn't be. Or, you know, like, that's kind of what I thought. I was like, this is just a bunch of dudes that I know. No big deal with this, right? So I take a Ziploc bag. I put my iPhone in the bag. I then, like, drill holes through the bag, put this twine string on both of them, and then I wrap the twine around a clothes hanger. And I do this, and it's kind of like this, like, fishing line, kind of like I'm dropping down. And then I start, like, so now I'm on the 5th floor of this building. So this is the top level of the building. I have my phone in this bag, and I got my Apple Watch out, and I got a couple of my buddies with me. And we decided it'd be funny to lower my phone down the side of the building up against other people's windows and, like, knock on it and, like, say hi to them. So what we were doing is we were hanging out the window, moving this bag out like this, and this thing was just smacking up against their windows, like 4 stories up. Just bam, bam, bam. And these guys would come up to their window, and they'd be looking out, and they would see my camera looking right at them. And I just thought it was like the most hilarious thing ever. And thankfully we didn't see anything that we shouldn't have. There was some dudes that were, like, actually getting mad because, like, we did it in my room, but then we also, like, moved around to different rooms throughout, like, the 5th floor. And so we were messing around with so many different guys. I think we even were in one of the bathrooms once. We were trying to peek in, but thankfully for the people in the bathrooms had, like, these blurred glass, so you couldn't see in there. Anyways, and so we had a ton of fun. Well, we got the security team called on us. And so this guy comes up from the security team, and I had just got done, or I think I was still on the security team at the time, actually, which makes it even more embarrassing. So I was on the security team at the time. So I work with these guys. They have to come upstairs and tell me, as the leader of this floor, hey, John, you probably shouldn't be hanging your phone out the balcony window and spying on people in their rooms. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we were just having fun. It's just a bunch of guys up here. Like, we're having fun. It's like, yeah, the thing is, though, maybe some people don't want you to be messing around with them, John. And, okay, sorry about that. Literally the thing that my phone was sitting on just tipped backwards. And I was like, is that tipping backwards? And then I just saw it go boom, boom. Anyways, so long story short, I should not have been doing this. Hanging your iPhone out the window, spying on people, even though you're trying to pull a prank on them, even though you're trying to have fun, it's probably just not a good idea to hang your phone out the side of a building and then get in trouble with the people that you work with. So even though I was a leader on this floor, I still had a lot to learn. I still made a lot of mistakes, but the Lord is super good, and it ended up being one of the best years of my life. I had a great time connecting with people like Parker and Brady. So thank you guys so much for commenting on the video. I'd love to see some more things. If you guys have a specific story that you want me to tell that you can think of from college, I would love to share that with you guys. Okay, so I'll bring you guys into what this last week looked like for me. So this last week, I posted my first ever podcast, and you guys know this because you watched my first one probably. So I posted my first one, and when I was recording it, I made a little teaser video. I posted it on my Instagram, I posted it on my Facebook on Wednesday. I said, new podcast dropping tonight. I'm super excited about it and everything like that. And I was super excited. But the thing is that well, I didn't plan for technical difficulties to happen, but yet they always seem to stink and happen. And so I told people that I was going to be posting my first podcast on Wednesday night, and my computer kind of stopped working on me. The files on my computer weren't properly compressing, and so I was not even able to post my first podcast. So I told everybody I was going to post my first podcast Wednesday night, and I didn't actually end up getting it posted till Saturday night. And I think that the lesson in that is life doesn't always go the way that you want it to, but it always ends up working out for the best. So I posted my first ever video on Saturday. Today is Tuesday the 17th. I'm recording my second ever podcast, and I'm super excited to be doing this. I think something that would be fun to start doing is I would like to maybe start doing some fun challenges or some cool like little games in the vlogs, and I'd like to start adding more like visual elements throughout it. And so if you guys have any ideas for like challenges or anything fun that I could do, I would love to start doing that. And I think I'm actually going to show you guys a video right now. Speaking of challenges and kind of intense things to do, I'm going to show you guys a video right now of me from a few years ago before I got married to my wife. And we were at our youth retreat for my youth group, we call it Breakaway. We go on it every year. It's super fun. And I kind of had this thing that I would do on a regular basis where I would take a 2-liter Mountain Dew and I'd be able to chug it really quick. But the thing about the video I'm about to show you guys is that I hadn't drank pop in 4 months. So I hadn't drank pop for 4 months, no carbonation. And then all of a sudden I decided I was going to try to chug a 2-liter Mountain Dew. And so if you guys get grossed out by puke, don't watch this next clip. It was about 30 seconds. It's absolutely legendary. And I'll explain to you guys what you saw after the video. Okay, so I'm sorry to you guys who had to just see what you saw. There's a lot of puke coming out of my mouth, as you could tell. So what was going on there was I was trying to chug the 2-liter Mountain Dew, but somewhere in the process of it, the carbonation decided that it definitely did not agree with my body. So I started puking into this garbage can in front of like 100 students, 100 like people from my church. It was super hilarious. But the girl that comes up and starts chugging that is my wife, Rachel, as most of you guys know. So the epic thing about this is that this is something that I had done multiple years. I was going to do it again this year, but I couldn't. And so as I'm puking in the garbage can, my wife comes, or my girlfriend at the time, Rachel, but now she's my wife, she comes over, she grabs the bottle of Mountain Dew and she chugs almost the rest of it. And then I take the final swig of it. And I always tell people, if I would have had the wedding ring with me at that moment, I would have dropped down, or I already was on the ground. I was already there, and I would have proposed to her. But I didn't have the ring with me. I actually already had the ring, but I didn't have it with me. And I think that would have been the most epic moment to have proposed to her. I mean, sure, when I proposed, it was really cute. But wouldn't it be so much more fun to propose while you're puking? Will you marry me? I just think that there's just something about that would have been a lot cooler, a lot more memorable, and definitely iconic. Maybe a little bit gross, but hey, if she said yes to marry me then, I mean, they say in sickness and in health, right? And I mean, that's pretty sick. That's pretty disgusting. Okay, so for the last thing that we're going to talk about for today, like I said, I wanted to try to keep these a little bit shorter for you guys. That way you're not having to watch a 25-minute thing. I want to be fun. I want to be interactive with you guys, and I know that time is precious and time is valuable, and I appreciate you guys watching this video. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about, and I think I might end all of them like this, is what God's been teaching me since I've been with you guys last. So my wife and I this last week and a half have been doing these Bible plans on the Bible app together, and it's been really fun. It's been something new that we started doing, and I've really been enjoying it. And the thing that the Lord has been teaching me this week is that I need to be living my life in balance. I need to be constantly kind of staying, pretty much I need Christ to be my center. I think a lot of times in life, we want a solution to a problem, or we want something to just a fix, and then we don't want to have to touch it again. People talk about wanting to have passive income. So, they want things to happen where they do it once, they take care of it, and then it's just constantly feeding them or taking care of them, and they don't have to do any work. And that's all good and dandy in some situations. Having passive income, that sounds great. You buy an apartment building, yeah, you invest, you put money into that, and you're doing that, but then you hire property managers, that becomes passive income for you. You put money into investments and you start receiving the return off of those things. Those are some passive income ways. I think I'm talking about that right. My dad's a financial advisor. I should know this kind of stuff, right? And my dad owns apartment buildings too. But point being, that's something that a lot of people desire in life. And I think sometimes when we approach our relationship with Jesus, we think that same thing. We think, hey, I'm going to just do something, say the right words, say the right prayer, and then the Lord's just going to keep taking care of me. He's going to keep making sure my marriage is blessed. He's going to help me as a parent. He's going to help me with my job. He's going to help me with this, with that. But that's just not the way that it works. Your relationship with the Lord should be something that's continual, and it's just this constant process of getting closer and closer to Him for the rest of your life. And you're never going to have reached a point where you just are accomplished, where you've made it, where you're all of a sudden to the end goal. It's this constant living in the balance. I'm trying to think of a visual representation I can give you guys. But I think, in my mind, I'm thinking right now, if I go too much this way, if I go too much that way, I'll tip and I'll fall off. But if Christ is my center and I just stay perfectly in that balance, and I learned that life is all about this balance, and he needs to be my center, he needs to be where I stay, because if I try to go off too far this way, or if I try to go too far off that way, I'm going to fall. I'm going to lose my balance, and I'm going to lose my way. But if I stay right here where he has me, he's going to take care of me. He's going to bless me. But the cool thing about Jesus, as much as I'm painting that analogy right now of like if you go too far this way, too far that way, even if you do fall, he'll still pick you up and he'll put you right back. One of my favorite Bible verses is in Psalms, and it talks about how in Isaiah, it talks about how the Lord is the potter and we are the clay. And then in Psalms, it talks about how Jesus pulls us up out of the mud and mire, out of the miry clay, and he establishes our steps. And that's what Jesus does. See, like, life is messy, and we can be filled with a lot of different gunk and funk and stuff that's nasty. Miry means dirty clay. So it says that Jesus pulls us out of the dirty clay, the filthy, the nastiness of life. But I love that it says dirty clay, because we're not perfect. We all have dirt. We all have things that make us not the best that we could be, not who we want to be. But the Lord still can use that clay, because he's the potter and we're the clay. And he forms us. He makes us who we are. And he also establishes our steps. And that's the thing. We need to live in that balance of Christ. But even if we fall, he's going to pick us up out of the dirt. He's going to pick us up out of the mess. He's going to establish our steps, and he's going to turn us into that person that he wants us to be. Because he's the potter, and he's just going to keep making us into that piece of art, that piece of beautiful pottery that he wants to make us into. And maybe I'll put a picture of miry clay right here on the screen. And miry clay actually looks pretty cool. So even though we all have some issues, even though we all have some things that are maybe a little bit not what we would want for ourselves, the Lord's still going to use you. The Lord's still going to use me. So that's what he's been teaching me this week, is that I need to live in the balance, that I need to live where he has me, and not think that I can say the right words or read the right Bible verse or do the right thing or give enough money that I'm going to ever be achieved. I need to stay with him as my center on that, and I need to just live where he has me. So thank you guys so much for watching my second ever podcast. I'm really excited just getting to share with you guys. Go ahead and check out that verse in Psalms. I'll put the verse right up here on the screen, and then go ahead and also check out the one in Isaiah. I'll put that up on the screen right now too. So anyways, I love you guys, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Talk to you later. I really gotta hold on.